Hey, how are you? Thanks for joining me again here at Sarah Grace Cookie Company. Today I want to show you how I make a cake with cookie toppers as the cake topper. All those cookie toppers on this cake that I made for my friend's son's fishing themed birthday party are made out of decorated sugar cookies. And I'm excited to show you how to make these because you can really take a cake to the next level with a really nice cookie topper like this. I'm a lot more comfortable with sugar cookies. I started those first before I ever tried cakes, and so it's just easier to me to add my decorative detail with cookies, and I feel like it really makes my cakes look better. So right now I'm working on a cookie that's going to become the fishing pole on top of the cake. I just hand cut this cookie by eyeballing it based on a Google image that I found of a fishing pole. Then I baked that shape with a Wilton lollipop stick so that I could insert that into the top of the cake. You can see that lollipop stick coming out of the bottom of the cookie. I just kind of placed that into the dough before it went into the oven. And then I flooded over the top of it as you would with a regular cookie that you would flood. And y'all, please ignore these nails. We're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic right now. If you're watching this whenever this pandemic ends, hopefully it ends. But I've not been going out much, and I certainly haven't been tending to my fingernails, so I apologize. Just ignore. I'm using a 20-second icing to make the basic shape of this fishing pole here. That's just so that I can still get a smooth finish on the shape, but it doesn't run all over the cookie. It's not quite piping consistency. I want it to still be spreadable enough so that I can use the toothpick on it without getting those ugly toothpick marks that you would get in a thicker icing. But the 20-second is perfect for this, about toothpaste consistency. Now that that's dried, I'm just going over that fishing pole with a bit of gunmetal gray gel food coloring. I believe that's from Americolor. I'm going to link that in the blog post in the description. That way you can go on Amazon and purchase that if you want to. But I find that it worked really well for this fishing pole. When you use a lot of the gel color, it looks like a black color. And if you water it down just a bit with that lemon extract, it gets a little bit lighter and lighter the more that you water it down with the extract. Now, I used to use water when I was painting with gel food coloring, but as I kind of did it more, I realized that my cookies were starting to get like this, almost like little tiny pinholes in them when I would use water on them, and that was a major problem for me. So I learned that I needed to use lemon extract because it's mostly alcohol and it evaporates when you apply it to royal icing that's been dried. And here on the handles of the fishing pole, I'm just using some brown, I believe it's chocolate brown from Americolor, gel food coloring to make that wood grain effect. I started with really light as the base and then used a darker concentration of gel color with less extract in it to form the grain of the wood. All the materials and products that I'm using to make these cookies and this cake, I've tried to link as many of them as I can in the blog post that I've included in the description. It goes into detail in a written form about how I made this cake and some of the things that I used to make it so that you can easily click on those links and purchase those. I used just a little bit of the gunmetal gray and a white food coloring to make the gray in the reel. And then I lightened that a bit more with even more white coloring to make the color of the fishing line. I wanted to have something that I could use to look like a fishing line, but I didn't want it to be like a bright gray. So here I'm just adding some color to one of the fish cookies that's going to be on top of the cake. I've added, with that 20-second icing again, some details like the eyes, lips, and scales on the fish just to give it a little bit more 3D texture. And then I'm using again the lemon extract with gel food coloring to make the edible paint. I've mixed together some yellow Wilton gel food coloring as well as the gunmetal gray that I talked about earlier, and that just gives more of a natural green to me. I want the green to be more of like a yellowy green rather than the bright candy green that you would find if you were using just the green straight out of a bottle. I use these different colors to kind of make an ombre effect, like a color gradient along the body of the fish. In all the pictures of fish that I found online, it looked like there was a little bit of white on the belly of the fish, but then there was a lot of dark green at the top that kind of slowly faded into those lighter tones of green and yellow. So I just kind of went off of those pictures that I found and tried to make it look as close to that as possible. I love the watercolor look that lemon extract gives the cookie. And you can use any paintbrush that you want for this. I bought this at Hobby Lobby. It's a professional watercolor brush, and I've just reserved it and not used it for anything but food projects. And that's really the only thing you have to do when painting with food coloring or anything like that you're going to be preparing to eat. As long as you've made sure to not use it with anything else, it should be fine. If you'd like to see how to make fishing themed cookies in a little bit more detail, I have a video where I make a full set of fishing themed cookies, and I show a little bit more detail about how I paint each fish, and there are a couple other cookies in there if you like this fishing theme. You can click on the card up above if you'd like to check that out. I like to add a little bit of darker color behind some of the places that are going to be 3D just to make sure it looks like a little bit of extra shadow. Just gives it a little bit more depth. I took just a touch of white royal icing to make a catch light on the eye. I think it makes it look more realistic. Now, I've put the cake assembly in high speed because you can only watch so much cake assembly before you get bored. This is a strawberry cake. It looks a little sloppy there, but it tastes good, I promise. I've made a bit of strawberry buttercream just by mixing in some strawberry syrup with some regular vanilla buttercream. like I said, I am still working on my cake decorating skills. This was by no means the smoothest or most perfectly iced or crumb-coated cake that's ever been, for sure. But I was serious when I told you that those cookie toppers really took it to the next level. I crumb coated this with a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of strawberry buttercream. I was just trying to make sure I got a good smooth finish on the outside of the cake before I put it in the refrigerator and allowed it to crust before adding the color layer on the outside. I'm going with it's gotta look worse before it looks better here. And since making this cake, I've learned that it's easier to get smoother sides when you hold the cake scraper at a tighter angle toward the cake, and that's helped me with my cake decorating a lot. I'm just cleaning up that board because I'm a very messy decorator. Now after that cake's been chilled with the crumb coat and it's had a little bit of time for that first layer of buttercream to set, I'm going back in with some colored buttercream to make an ombre effect on the outside. I've colored some buttercream with a really dark greenish blue color. I was going for like almost a greener look than the typical bright blue that you would see for water. I wanted it to have a river water look. So I've started with some really dark blue at the bottom and mixed it with a little bit of a lighter color blue at the top. One of my main talents is getting buttercream on my shirt while I'm decorating cakes. That's okay though, it all comes out in the wash. I didn't worry too much about the way that this buttercream looked because I knew I was going to be covering it with several of those wave shapes that I was going to make in a little bit. You'll see those in just a few minutes. Okay, so I've just taken those cookies and popped them into the top of the cake. I didn't get that on camera, but all I did was just place the sticks that were on the cookies into the cake, just like you would a cake dough. Now I'm using a petal tip on a bag with blue buttercream and white buttercream to make those little wave shapes all around those cookies. I find that the cookie toppers look best when you have like some swirls and a few little decorations around them to kind of make them blend in with the cake better. Thank y'all so much for watching today. If you're interested in cookies, cakes, baking, recipes, and things like that, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel and like this video. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you can get notified each time I post a new video. And thank you again for watching today. I enjoy making these videos for y'all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.